Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another podcast, Ask the Zamboni Experts. Marty Elliott, your host, with my co-host, Doug Peters, our regional sales manager from Zamboni Company out of Paramount, California. And we do have a special guest today, Dave Marshall, general manager, sales manager of our Zamboni Authorized Dealer, Kendrick Equipment, talking about service first. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Marty. Always great to get together with you and with our dealers.
Yes, it is, definitely. Well, listen, let's get into this and talk about Kendrick Equipment, talk about service first. Dave, maybe you can share with the audience a little bit of the background of Kendrick Equipment and
Sure.
where you've been, where you are, where you're going.
Sure. Thanks again, Marty. Thanks, everyone. Kendrick Equipment's municipal equipment dealer based out of Vancouver, British Columbia. And we've been over 40 years representing a handful of reputable municipal equipment lines, traveling through the province for sales and service is the biggest part for us. Service has sort of been the first and foremost for Kendrick Equipment, building relationships that way. But over 40 years in experience, I've been 15 years with the company. It's been a dream of ours to add these iconic Zamboni ice resurfacer to the product line. So we acquired that a couple of years ago, and I've loved every minute of it. And it's been a very complimentary machine for us, being municipalities, our main target. And it's been a lot of fun, a joy to promote the product and get out and meet more people in the recreation field.
Well, you kind of, Dave, you kind of led into something I want to talk about, your relationships with the municipalities and their fleet departments. Obviously, your other vendors that you carry, you've already established those relationships. Have the fleet managers and fleet departments, they're all up to speed, knowing that you're the Zamboni Authorized Distributor for the British Columbia marketplace. What has their reception been? Because they already have a relationship with you for your other vendors. How's that reception been as far as being a distributor, authorized distributor for Zamboni? Maybe you can share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think overall it's been a positive experience, certainly for the customer as well too. We already had an established service department with technicians. We're going to talk in a little bit about a program that we use. It's got a lot of benefits for the customer, the owner of the Zamboni. But yeah, it having been already established in that service area with our other machines, in adding the Zamboni, it fit in nicely, quickly. We cross-trained a lot of our mechanics to be able to, support the Zamboni machine as well too. If we're already in an area of BC, whether the Kootenays are up north or the Okanagan, we're now, we're calling on the same city already, or the same, personnel in the fleet. So it was just a no-brainer adding it, and I think the customers really appreciated that. That it was us that are now supporting it for them.
Maybe you can share a little bit about the other types of products and services that you represent at Kendrick Equipment, Dave.
Sure. Yeah, we have everything from street sweepers to vacuum trucks, used nowadays for either underground utility, flushing. Hydro excavating now is a huge trend. We have municipal tractors, so for lawn care, everything from grass cutting to grass flailing in ditches, snow removal, snow plows, snow blowers, just anything for park maintenance. So almost anything a municipality would look for, we can offer them. So kind of a one-stop shop, again, with service being the most important thing for us. So
yeah, you Dave, took the words out of my mouth.
I'm sorry, Marty, for stepping on you.
No,
I want to jump in and ask a question. You guys acquired a long-term dealer of ours. I've been with Zamboni since '87 and dealt with Earl Vorath from Crocker Equipment, and you guys' business a little bit different in that you've got multiple lines. Earl had multiple lines for a while, but then kind of settled on Zamboni. How has the transition been? I know from our standpoint, we've been very excited. I know Marty's been out there to offer up some training and such for you guys, but how has the transition gone for you guys, for your customers, dealing with somebody such as Earl for as long as they did, and now transitioning to new people?
I think Earl did a fantastic job with the product and the relationships with the customer. I think with the shift to Kendrick and our more broad product lines right now, it's added I think a bit of diversity to it. We've got some newer programs and systems we're using with regard to inspections and training, seminars. We had Marty out last year for some real high-level training with the various rec zones in the province, which has been very well received. I think it's just, we're trying to carry on a lot of what Earl did very well himself, and just, kind of just expand on that training, the knowledge, just that experience for the customer. So, we're excited about it, and it's a very exciting machine to talk about. I mean, everybody loves talking about Zamboni, so it's just been a pleasure.
That's great. Great information. Great to hear that transition is ran as smooth as it has. I think, Dave, honestly, and talk about other municipalities, other provinces, that's indicative of the value of the relationships that Kendrick and Crocker held with the purchasing and procurement and fleet departments within your province. So that speaks highly of those relationships. Obviously, both parties have had. So would certainly transition that movement towards Kendrick a lot smoother. Yeah. So that's fantastic. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the insight about your operation and Kendrick Equipment's operation with Zamboni. Can you share a little bit about what the maintenance program that you have in place for Zambonis, and talk about the timing of it and what suggestions you may perhaps have with your customers?
Sure. With our other lines of equipment, we were already utilizing an annual inspection program. We're even involved in some cranes as well for material handling and lifting. So some of those machines, there were more of a stringent regulation on annual inspection. So we carried that into our other product lines more for a peace of mind and liability aspect, just get the machines running in tip-top condition so there's less downtime. In the rink business and recreation, downtime is very costly. We've had many instances or the occasional instance where, it's a big tournament on and a machine needs something, and, time is of the utmost importance. So we felt that melding this inspection program in to the Zamboni line, again, that we'd been utilizing on the other product lines, would be useful. And what it is it's an iPad-based program which our service technicians use when they're going through a machine, bumper to bumper or bumper to conditioner in this case. And they're able to snap pictures with it. They're going through each area of the machine, the hydraulics, the electrical, the conditioner, even some instrumentation in the cab, everything you would typically get with, the traditional inspection. They'd be handwriting, but this is now, on their tablet, nice pictures taken, highlighting, say, an area that needs some attention. The turnaround time has been quicker. So from a customer standpoint, first of all, it's very professional looking. It's all organized in a nice multi-page report, very thorough with the color photos. It's in their hands quicker, which is nice. And it even gives them a grading or feedback or a benchmark of sorts of where the machine stands. And if it's, say, the first inspection they've done in several years, there might be kind of a mid to high grade on it, with a handful of things identified as needing attention. But as they go year after year, that grade's going to get higher as they address some of these things. It might be some bearings, it might be whatever, but it's almost created a bit of a friendly competition in some areas, where you've got a city that's got, say, 6 or 8 rinks with a dozen or so machines. We had one instance where there was kind of a friendly competition between the two places to see who could kind of keep that grading higher. So it just, you know, it really pinpointed what was needed. It for us as a dealer, it you know, it was easier to even decipher some of the information. You know, every mechanic's got a different style of handwriting, or, you know, chicken scratch, or whatever you want to call it. And so for us, it was a little more precise. You know, we knew exactly what area was needed, so we can get that information back to the customer. You know, it's detail of parts they need. There was more accuracy with it, less chance of misinterpreting what your service tech, you know, was trying to note in a report. So yeah, all around, it's been a great success, and it's mobile. You know, they can take it wherever they need to, and just right off a tablet.
Right. You know, and now that you're speaking about this, the customers, the municipalities, they obviously have, as we see in the industry, a life expectancy of the machine, but having this much detail, if you will, involved in the actual reports is allowing them to identify, I either spend now or I lose later in trade-ins, if you will. So obviously they're more engaged. Would it be fair to say they're more engaged with this process because they have a better understanding how detailed it is?
For sure, absolutely. They are more engaged. And I find now a year will go by and the phone will ring and they'll say, hey, it's already been a year since our last one. You know, when can we get you in again? They know that, you know, they've stayed on top of things, but it's just it's that peace of mind and liability, and just having that, you know, dealer inspection done. And yeah, it's been great all around. You know, coupled with the Zamboni Connect is a whole nother topic I'm sure you guys have gone into great deal with as well too. But you know, the reception on that, the organization, the dashboard, bringing in this inspection program, yeah, it's good.
We actually had a Ask the Zamboni Expert podcast that Doug, myself, and our engineering department did with the ice dent down in Arizona. But it certainly speaks to Zamboni Connect and how it enhances the understanding of the customer's machine for the customer and what needs to be done. And it's inspect what you expect. So it's that was a really good topic. Hey, Doug, let me bring you in, and perhaps you have a couple questions you want to talk to Dave about.
Yeah, I do, Dave. In the world we live in today, I'm going to assume that it's got to be better to eliminate the touch points. That's kind of like the buzz of the industry and the world. So I'm assuming, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit more, like, do your customers find it better with the documentation that you're able to send digitally? And the same thing goes where your mechanics can just send something into the office, and then maybe by the time they get back, if they've done 3 or 4 service calls in that day, the customers that they visited already have the information to them, and there's nothing having to go out through the mail, nothing having to be left by the mechanic, that kind of thing. Can you elaborate a little bit on how that's working?
Yeah, exactly. And right now, Kevin is on a trip up through the Kootenay area, making 12 visits. So he'll be doing inspections. He, like you said, is able to meet up with the machine right now with, you know, a C19 and all the protocols there. A lot of times we'll meet with the machine outside. It'll be, you know, contactless there for us. When the report's done, it's a click of a button and it's emailed to the rink manager or whoever it has to be emailed to. At the same time, it's emailed to our office, to our service writer, who's putting together the details for the report and feedback and maybe a parts quote and all those details. So that process is happening quicker now, which is a positive. The customers have really liked. And again, in the circumstances we're dealing with right now with you know, C19 protocols, it's lended itself very well as well. It's just it's actually enhanced the way we're doing things. So all around a plus.
That's awesome. And is this creating a better bond with your customers? And I'm gonna assume that you've had this kind of protocol with other product lines. Is this creating a bond, a better bond with the customers, so that they feel more comfortable about how their machine's going to perform for them during the year until the next time you go out and do this sort of thing?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, what you said is definitely rings true. We've seen it on other product lines, whether it's a crane or a sweeper or a vac truck. It's consistency. They're used to it. It's peace of mind for them. And then from our standpoint and other dealer standpoints, it sets us apart too. It's just another level of detail, and again, very well received.
That's awesome. We had one dealer up in Michigan that used to do these, and they had a stat that it would provided like 85% less breakdowns during the year. Obviously, with the piece of equipment, mechanical equipment, you can't ever stop them and from breaking down. Are you getting any numbers, or have you compiled any data about how machines hold up better once they've utilized your program versus customers that don't utilize it?
Yeah, boy. Yeah, good question. Good question. We've got the data. We haven't put it all together to come up with a summary, but I can definitely say it's helped with some rinks just get on top of preventative maintenance items quicker. Haven't left dusted things, swept things into the corner. Overall, it has definitely minimized some of that downtime. The exact number, it's hard to say, but all in all, it's certainly a plus for the user group and a plus for us. So yeah, we're going to continue to push it, and yeah.
Well, it's Dave. You guys are using technology. It's great. And one of the things that Marty talked about is a better understanding of a trade-in value if a customer is going to trade a machine in. Fill us in on how this has made it easier for you, if you're taking a machine in on trade, to understand the value for the customer's machine.
Yeah, it has definitely added to the value of a machine, having the history right there at your fingertips. Prospective buyer comes in, wants to buy a 10 or 15-year-old ex-municipal machine, for instance. First thing they're going to ask her is, do you have any records? Do you have some past inspections you can share? So having that accessible and organized, for how many years they participated in, has definitely helped with the resale of used machines, added to the value for that customer and what they get in a trade-in, which will directly correlate to, say, a reduction in price off a new one if they're replacing it. So it's been some very useful information. So again, in this day and age of technology, it's a real commonplace now and well accepted. Years ago, when we started this, I'd say it's probably been 8 or 10 years since we've been using a similar program to this. At first, it wasn't maybe welcomed as much. A technician felt it a little more fumbly to have a tablet in his hand, and he just he wanted pen and paper. And the customer, maybe not as apt to be dealing with emails or electronic resources, but nowadays I can't imagine doing it without it, and I'm sure it'll advance. Tying it in with other Zamboni platforms would be great. Sharing resources with other dealers, creating a benchmark of sorts, across the country would be great.
Well, and I think maybe I kind of view this as I'm a dinosaur and kind of understand what some of the guys might have. Nowadays, it's like looking at what kids are used to. I had a visit from my 2.5-year-old grandson for the last few days, and he knows how to work an iPhone probably better than I do. And it's just amazing what the technology is and how people are comfortable with it now, and how the customers, I think, are going to go more so that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I have to agree with you on that one, Doug. No question about it. And you know what, guys, at the end of the day, what this is giving added value. And it's actually, there's measurement verification with it, by making this documentation instead of just pulling information, doing what you have to do, and there's no tracking of it. I mean, come to added value and over and above that can be measured and verified. I mean, just makes you, Dave, and Kendrick Equipment, no doubt, stand above the rest, because you're all dealing with the same procurement department, same fleet department, so they're seeing everything coming at them from different OEMs or different distributors. It obviously would make your system stand out because you're delivering that added value. Fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to, offering a proposal, say, to a city on one machine, say electric versus propane or different offerings, being able to include that in the package adds value. Goes back to what you just said, all that added value. And the more we can add, the better. And again, that's what Kendrick has been trying to do, right from the start. And, it's great to sell a shiny new machine, but it's a lot more fun and rewarding to be, building a relationship with them, supporting them. So
Right. True words. True words. You touched on something about tenders and proposals and that. I'm going to bring our co-host Doug back in. Doug, maybe you can talk to the audience and let them know what Kendrick Equipment has to offer when it comes to Sourcewell and RMA out of Alberta.
Yeah, Dave, we're going to touch a little bit on that. It's been something that's been near and dear to me because I got involved in it what I thought was 5 or 6 years ago, which turns out to be 7 or 8 years ago, as we've got another bid process coming up this year, and hopefully get awarded another contract with Sourcewell, formerly NJPA, coming up next spring. Have you utilized Sourcewell with your other product lines, and where are things standing with you guys now with regards to introducing Sourcewell contract for Zamboni machines into your province?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. Sourcewell, formerly NJPA, we have had years of experience with the other product lines. Some other equipment built out of California, some built out of the Midwest, and have been gaining more traction with it. In my experience, it's very prominent in the U.S. It's utilized a lot. I think it's had traction for years. North of the border, back east, for instance, it's been gaining a lot of momentum for years, and I feel that's trickling out to the west now. And why it's gone that path, I don't know, but we're starting to see more of it now in BC. I know it's prominent in Alberta already. I think Sourcewell's been active, RMA's been active out here in participating in conferences and other trade shows to share awareness and share knowledge and experience about the program. And these purchasing departments in the cities and other user groups are starting to understand it better. Maybe there was a bit of fear at first of what it would do or what it wouldn't do, but they're seeing now that it's so successful elsewhere, even in Canada now, and it just offers so much for them. Big time saver, cost savings, and again now it's more widely accepted here in BC. So again, we're seeing it now in the Zamboni. Just did a bid last week actually for a group in the Okanagan, and they referenced Sourcewell. So we were able to pass that information along, and again, it's cost savings. It's big thing is time savings. With that municipal purchasing department or whoever it is that's putting their proposal together. So for us, it's been a plus. I'm thrilled that it's gaining more attention here in BC, and we expect to be using it a lot more moving forward. Something now we'd like to mention to whoever in conversation is looking for a new machine.
Yeah, it's something that's new to the Canadian marketplace, and it's been something that they've been working on for a few years. And the provinces, because you're dealing with different municipalities and different regulations, I think that that's why it's taken a while. Nobody wants to be the trendsetter; they want to follow the trend, and
Yep.
it's worked out really well down in the States. And we've received orders for a couple machines, I think it is in Alberta, Marty, and then I think that you're telling me that the Ontario, the plant in Ontario, where Marty's based out of, just got a couple orders for 450s through Sourcewell.
Yeah, the city of Kingston just signed off on two brand new 450 lithium ions using the Sourcewell RMA and LAS, which is the regional association for Ontario. And the Gord, the procurement, he's actually part of Fleet. The process, he was just, Marty, you have no idea how much time you saved us in this process. Knowing that Zamboni is his preferred vendor with the program, he said, I'll be telling all my colleagues throughout the Kingston area how much value was shown, and the pricing was dead on as well, what it was going to be. But yeah, the process was um, very well received by the Fleet Procurement Department for the city of Kingston.
One of the things that we touched on, Dave, and we did a podcast recently with Sourcewell about the value. Value is a big word with them. It also, we're seeing down here in the States, we feel there's going to be a crunch because of COVID, that it's going to have an impact on purchasing departments. It's going to have an impact on municipalities in general. And with the Sourcewell contract, it enables the municipalities to streamline the purchasing process. It doesn't have to go out to bid because the bid's already been satisfied for them. It just makes it so much easier. And what I try to tell people, if there's any resistance at all from a purchasing agent thinking they might be losing their job over this, it's like, look, this makes it easy. How many times do you ever buy an ice resurfacer and you can concentrate on things that you can't purchase through a Sourcewell contract? So those are some of the things that I use, and I don't know, maybe you can share with us what you use when you're dealing with your customers in BC.
Yeah, you make a really good point. That person in purchasing one day is speccing out for the purchase of a Zamboni. The next day it might be a snowplow or vacuum truck or street sweeper, and and all of this equipment is getting more and more, I shouldn't say complex, but loaded with features and options. And that purchasing person now is able to, rather than spend what could be weeks putting together a spec, and the fear is maybe missing a few items or not putting in the detail that that should be in there, to ensure you get the right machine with the right options. Now, with Sourcewell having already qualified, vetted, negotiated the contract with the vendor, they can go in and basically choose what they're looking to get and go through it that way. Some of these specs could be 25-page documents, and like I said, it could be just a wide range of equipment. So from a streamlining perspective, like you said, and with what we're maybe dealing with now in the around the world, being able to streamline that process and not spend all this time putting together something that has already been put together is where I'm going with this. It, to me, is just a more efficient way to do it. And again, it checks off all the boxes, all the procurement requirements. It's a great group to deal with, the value, the cost savings, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, for me, it would definitely be a good way to streamline that purchasing procedure. And in no way is, in my mind, any threat to anyone in the procurement department, but just another tool to get what you're looking for, but satisfy, all the legality of it, and allow you to spend time on some other tasks, right?
And you know what? Time. We only have so much time. Let me to the audience. Let me break it down for you, the listeners, as far as what a traditional versus a cooperative procurement process looks like. And Dave, this is pretty much what you just shared with our listening audience. But there's usually 11 steps in the procurement process, starting with identifying whatever the need is for the OEM or purchase of of equipment, then the research options that are involved. Then spec out equipment would be the third part of the process. Have to obtain contract pricing, then write a tender, advertise a tender, bid opening, bid evaluation, award the lowest dollar, and then the last two steps, issue PO and receive equipment. That's the traditional. For our listening audience in the procurement departments of municipalities, we've taken those 11 steps through this process with Sourcewell and our relationship with them from 11 steps down to 4. So 1 and 2 still the same, identifying the need and researching the options. And then finally, due to the contract cooperative procurement process, eliminating step 3 to 9. And all they're doing now is issuing a PO and then finally receiving the equipment and training. So it definitely takes, as you said, Dave, all the time, which is a long process, out of the hands of that procurement department.
Yep. And then a lot of times at the end of that process, like you just listed, when a city municipality has chosen a piece of equipment, they'll still put out and either it's on BC bid or whatever state bid or provincial bid site, an intent to purchase, let's say. So it's there. They've gone through the process. Here's the intent, and again, it still allows that opportunity for review or any feedback, comments from whoever it may be. But typically it's, again, just to stick with the procedure of it. And again, it's been very successful for everyone. So I'm just excited to see it picking up steam here in BC.
Yeah, so BC audience, fleet department, procurement departments, if you're listening to this podcast, reach out to Kendrick Equipment and Dave and his team, Larry Robinson, and they'll certainly walk you through that process. Let's. I just want to move over to another topic, Dave, which is near and dear to both yours, Doug's, and mine. Introducing our electric ice resurfacers, and of course the lithium-ion, both in 2 models: the 450, which is produced out of our Brantford, California facility, and our 552 AC lithium-ion, which is produced out of our Paramount, California facility. Doug, let me bring you in. Maybe you can talk to Dave a little bit more about this and the successes I know that Kendrick Equipment has had in the BC market with electric, and how strong the electric market is going in your backyard, Dave. Take it away, Doug.
Yeah, Dave, you guys have recently issued us multiple orders for machines. We're very excited about that. I know that you guys have got a 450 out there with the lithium ion, which is awesome for the size rink that it's on. It's the perfect machine. But can you tell us a little bit how it's been to transition your customers from lead acid batteries into the lithium ion?
It has been, it's been a wonderful transition, and it hasn't really changed a whole lot in what the customer is doing as far as the use of the machine, other than zero maintenance. We've got a lot of the lead acid machines around the province, most of them concentrated in the Lower Mainland, and we've got a few machines on back order, as you mentioned, but the excitement is kind of the big thing. Excitement, not having to worry about water levels in it, equalization charges, being able to nearly use the machine for 10 minutes and plug it in for 10 minutes and have it charged back up. Nearly a 1-to-1 usage rate, charge rate. So, for us, it's been just a positive all around. A lot of people are just, have been anxiously awaiting it, and some of the reactions have been, finally, this is here, it's proven, and we're excited to get it out on the ice. So I foresee, everything now being LI. It's still an option we offer, the LA or the lead acid, but everybody we've talked to so far is adamant about using the LI for the advantages, the green initiatives, the less maintenance, everything. And it's just been a huge plus, a no-brainer, really. One of the most prominent locations now that's going to be utilizing lithium ion technology in the Zamboni is Robson Square. Robson Square is smack in the middle of downtown Vancouver, huge tourist attraction in the wintertime for skating. They have a new 450 lithium that'll be used there, and they love it. It's going to be going in this fall, and it's going to offer a lot less maintenance, versatility. The customers have really embraced the green aspect to it, the lack of maintenance, and for us, it'll be the new norm for battery powered Zambonis. We have yet to see anybody elect to stick with the lead acid option versus the LI, and it's there's a long list of reasons why the LI is fast becoming the leader in that area. Everything from weight to maintenance to longevity, ease of use when charging it, running it versus charging it. So yeah.
Yeah, and Dave, one of the things that is stuck in my head, I'm always looking for different phrases or parts, discussions with customers to add to my sales repertoire. And I think one that sticks in my mind from Larry Robinson, from your staff, is that it takes the maintenance aspect out of the hands of the operator. And what we've found with the 552 being in existence since 1990, we've got 30 years under our belt with it, that the number one problem that we've seen with people is the lack of proper care. That doesn't mean that it doesn't, that proper care doesn't happen, but when you're depending on maybe not a full-time staff member to take care of things, the lithium ion really takes that potential problem out of the hands of the operator. Maybe you can say it a little bit better than I'm trying to do, but that's something that I picked up from Larry and your staff.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Certainly true. And every city is a little different. Every user group's a little different. There's certainly multiple operators coming through. Might be a handful of mechanics, and some will stay on top of things a little better than others. But it just takes those steps out of it. Those fluid checks and weekly equalization schedules. Because there's as diligent as a group will be, there's always a possibility for something happening. We all know that. So this, with the lithium ion, it takes all of that potential for an issue out of there. So that could mean an extra year or several years of life on that battery system. And for any user group, that's huge. It's the first thing they're asking is, well, how long is this expected to last? Well, when will I be looking at replacement? But again, taking that possibility out of the equation is the biggest part.
Dave, are you seeing, like we see in some areas down here in the States, any potential for grants from your province to help people get into a electric ice resurfacer and away from a fuel powered machine?
Yes, there are several avenues, some provincial, some federal. Some of them remain the same as what they've been used to with, say, a lead acid machine that they had to, in past years. But there's also some added funding avenues for lithium ion specific machines. So they can utilize what they already have been. There's some additional ones they can go for. They vary differently through province. So a bit of advice, just get out there, call Kendrick. We can walk you through those sources. A lot of it can be found online. Municipalities already are likely dealing with some electric fleet vehicles they may have, whether it's a Nissan Leaf or a Chevy Volt or whatever. A lot of those will also, include the Zamboni as well. So many places to look. We've gone through it numerous times. We can help you, walk through the process, get you all the information you need. So that can help narrow that gap, in price. The cost savings are seen immediately, with cost of fuel, less maintenance, and again, these rebates here to narrow that price gap. And all the data, shows that it's certainly the more cost-effective way to go, and that's why we're seeing a higher percentage of electric machines ordered now. So
yeah, and it's been trending that way. When the 552 first came out, there was the belief that there was going to be a need for an electric machine that could handle the typical community rinks, because Zamboni had electric machines prior that were designed for mall applications where it was limited resurfacing schedule. The 552 really changed that game, and now the 552 lithium ion is changing the game yet again. And it's nice to see that the province and this country of Canada is helping out, understanding the benefits of running an electric ice resurfacer in an enclosed environment. And it's not going backwards, it's only going to go forwards. And I can see down the road, whether it's 20 years from now or 10 years from now, whenever it is, that you're going to see mostly electric powered machines in enclosed ice rinks.
And where it's mostly, in years past, it was, what we found was the larger cities, the mostly, say, in the Lower Mainland in our situation, but the cities that had 8 machines or 10 machines. And I find as you move further out from the Lower Mainland to the cities that have 1 or 2 machines, they were predominantly fuel powered. Well, now that's changing. With this machine going to Prince George, albeit they've got a large fleet of machines there, but we're already looking at ordering and delivering LI machines into some of the eastern and northern parts of the province where they have 1 or 2 machines, and they're more widely accepted, as reliable as you can get, and so we're excited about that. We're excited about putting these machines into all parts of the province, and not just the city, big cities like Vancouver and Burnaby that have been on the green initiative and alternative fuel avenues now for years. It's now everywhere. So it's a very exciting prospect.
I'd like to touch a little bit about options and want to get into connecting a little bit, but I want to bring Marty in to talk about level ice and how your customers are seeing that and how that's working out, and are you getting more traction? And Marty's our expert on it. He's got a lot of history, loves it, thinks that it should be on every machine. And how are your customers taking to it?
Yeah, Dave, it's I got to tell you, my first visit in my role out to BC was back when Kitimat on the 552 AC machines chose to have level ice on them, and that was a great success story. And also Kelowna last year, as you know, spent some time with you and Larry.
Yep.
It's a system, no question. I know you guys are excited about it, but even from the regional zone meetings and Zamboni on-site training talking about it, the audience from arenas certainly were welcoming it and looking forward to hopefully having some opportunity to utilize the system on one of the machines that you have the system on. So maybe you can share more about that. What's going on in your province.
Yeah, it's another one of those options that are gaining more popularity as well. We just went into Seashell a few months ago. It's being asked about now almost in every situation. So, and I love, Marty, you've done so much work on it, collected a lot of data, and that's only helped us explain the advantages of it and how it's going to save a rink operator money. I love the presentation you have on it, the training you came out and offered for us last year. Really spread that knowledge out there. But for me, allowing the rink to be able to keep a consistent thickness of ice throughout, and not spend more than they need to on refrigeration costs and wear and tear on cutting down all that, higher levels of ice on the blade, the machine, the tires, everything is the data has really spoken for itself and helped us upsell it and equip some of more machines with it. So I see a trend of more takers for it, a higher take rate, because we are seeing the benefits now. Those machines, the Kitamats, the Kelownas, have had them in there long enough that there's data now. There's some numbers to back the technology, but above all that, it's a better quality of ice. And so now it's asked for all the time. Fast ice is another system, which of course, when coupled with it, is only another level. But yeah, we're seeing more and more requests for it, and in places that you maybe wouldn't expect. It's been great.
Well, you know what, and Tipping Point, you made a comment on the Kelownas, the Kitamats, and I think there's a couple others. I mean, the upside black and white measurement verification numbers that you'll be able to extract with their blessing to utilize with other municipalities pre-installation and post-installation after 12 months of using it. I've certainly seen it throughout North America with customers worldwide on level ice. It does show, so that'll be exciting when you get that information in your hands with those customers utilizing it to demonstrate and show potential new prospects the system. Hey, Doug, let me take it back to you. And is there any other subject you want to share or talk about with Dave?
Yeah, I think, Dave, we've maybe touched a little bit. We talked Zamboni Connect, and in regards to how that interacts with your maintenance program. Where do you see that going? And is Zamboni Connect become something that customers are getting true value out of with it, and you're seeing more customers utilizing it to its fullest capabilities?
Zamboni Connect, we supplied our first machine with it, probably a year and a half ago now. And since then, that customer has added it to a existing machine in their fleet. So that's worth noting too for everybody listening. If you purchase a new machine with it and you want to add it, it can be retrofitted to an existing machine. So we've seen success where we've installed them. We have more of them coming up this year, which we're excited about. This Prince George unit will have it. It does have it. It's there now. And one big thing for us, so everything we talked about on the maintenance program and the inspection program, with Connect now, we can do a remote diagnostics and sort of more of a better communication with the customer on the machine remotely. So if that customer is a 12-hour drive away up in Chetwynd, for instance, or Fort St. John, see the vital information of the machine, performance data, and help us in some circumstances, identify or fix an issue or address something immediately without even having to set foot in there. So it's tied in nicely.
That's awesome. That's something that I have not utilized when talking to customers to try to convince them the values. It sounds like in your territory, because you've got some customers based on the drivability or lack thereof in Vancouver, that you can work with a customer with the information that the Connect has to save them money when it comes to trying to take care of an issue by the feedback that Connect is offering you and your customer.
Yeah, exactly. And we've had this option on some other equipment, mainly on the cranes that we offer, the marine boat handling equipment and industrial lifting equipment. So we've got machines, you know, with the same technology in plants like the Boeing aircraft in Washington, or you know, there's several up and down the coast as well, where we've been able to, you know, monitor the performance of the machine, identify what's working well, what's not, make suggestions, and in some cases on a preemptive basis. You know, we've been able to get ahead of something and point something out, you know, offer some advice on ways to go about maintenance to avoid, you know, a potential downtime situation. So it's, you know, it's great to see it on the Zamboni product now. It's been out for a few years. It's only getting better and better each version you're coming out with. So for the user groups out there, huge consideration, you know, look at it. It's all of the data at your fingertips. You know, if you're a manager, say that's got a half dozen machines in your fleet, you've got access to each one of them, you know, right from your office, you know, because, you know, going around to 4 or 5 different buildings, you know, it takes time. It's logistics. So that information is powerful.
It's something that I've used when I had conversations about Connect in the past. Is it gives the manager, whoever's in charge, even the fleet, can take a look at it, and they don't have to be in the rink to see what's going on with the machine. They can monitor its performance. They can monitor how it's being operated from afar. And I know as a kid whose dad spent an awful lot of time in a building where a pro hockey team played, I probably would have seen him a bit more had this technology been available back then. But Dave, do you have any specials, anything you want to add to this? Any BOGOs or deals like that Marty's offering you? You buy one machine, you get one for free, that we can throw out to your customers, or maybe just something that you want to chat about?
I
Do some rounds of golf.
I have to step in here, Dave, because you'll appreciate this. And Dave was not witness to this, but I do know the first customer was Zamboni Connect in Dave's backyard. I went out and trained Kendrick's sales representative, Larry Robinson. And after we finished that day of training, we actually went to a golf course. Because of his intuitiveness, his belief in the system, I do recall Larry Robinson on, I think it was the 7th hole, 135 yards, elevated pitch back to front, one bounce in the cup for a hole-in-one. So
wow.
It does pay off. And Dave, I know that you and Bill were waiting for us in the clubhouse, and I'm sure you can remember this story, but it does pay off to take a look at some of the options that are available through Kendrick and Zamboni.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come out and train anytime you want. We golf out here all year round, as you know, which you don't get to do out there. So we like to rub that in. And in this day and age of social distancing, I know you and I would play well together, because you'd be down the fairway and I wouldn't be, or vice versa.
You would be, not me.
Well, Dave, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to turn it over to Marty, and Marty can wrap things up. He may have a question or two. If not, I greatly appreciate your time, and it's always great for us to share with our customers of our product, the staff that you guys have, what you guys can offer. You're a stellar dealer for us, and we're looking forward to a long relationship with you, and just keep coming out with the different products to help take care of our customers.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to share some of this information. Hopefully it was helpful. But yeah, looking forward to all the exciting things you have coming down the line in the near future. Yeah. So we'll
yeah, and I'll verbatim what Doug said, Dave. It has been a pleasure working with you and the team, Larry and Kevin, and the rest of your squad. I know the respect that the municipalities out in your backyard have for your organization, and it's a blessing for Zamboni to be a part of that. And we definitely look forward to working with you and your team further, and maybe a couple golf rounds when I get out there after the C19 is all done. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to another Ask the Zamboni Experts podcast. And by the way, folks, if you have any information you want to share with us, you have any topic you want to hear about, by all means, shoot us a line at our email, info@zamboni.com. But until we meet again, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Doug. Look forward to listening to our another Ask the Zamboni Experts podcast. Have a great day.